Well, good morning, Savannah. Good morning, Chatham County. Good morning, world. This is the rural community. We just here this morning to bring information and get you educated on what's going on in Chatham County today. This morning, we have with us the sheriff of Chatham County, Sheriff John Wilcher. We have our co-host, Natavius Mobley, with us this morning. And I am Jerome Irwin, president of the A. Philip Randolph Institute, and we're here this morning bringing you all the information we can. So we're going to start off with the sheriff. Good morning, Sheriff. Will you introduce yourself for us, please?
Good morning, Jerome. It's a pleasure to be here to be with y'all this morning. You and I think there was two ladies. I can't see who's on the screen, but it's been an honor to be here to be on your program, and I look forward to answering questions that you need answering.
All right. Ms. Sanders Mobley, would you introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Natavia Sanders Mobley, and I'm honored as well to be here to speak with you about what you have done and what you're planning on doing as you run for re-election.
Well, I have a whole lot. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, that actually leads into the first question, which is who are you and why are you running for re-election? So you can go right into it.
All my career, I loved people in the community of all walks of religion and color of creed. And, I love serving the people in this community. And that's one of the reasons I'm running for re-election. When I started my career in 1974, Carl Griffin was the sheriff that hired me. And he asked me one day, he said, "Son, where you see yourself in the future?" I said, "I'm going to be sitting in your seat." And thank the Lord, I'm sitting in his seat. I've worked for 3 other sheriffs, and I think I've done a good job for the city of Savannah and the solvent state of Chatham, as I call it.
Okay. All right.
So we know that there's a staffing shortage at the jailhouse. So can you tell us about what's causing this and how can we fix it?
Well, one of the things, is a plus for us this year. We're 63 short today in the jail, and that's where your biggest shortage is because you have to watch the inmates and treat them humanely. This year we've hired 55 people, and we've only lost 6 out of the 55. And our recruiting and training division that I had set up in the last couple of years has done an excellent job by going out in the community, going to the military bases, going to anything that we can get to go to maybe get somebody to come in and be a member of our office, and we want to retain them. And the biggest thing about retaining them is that we've changed our shirts. I've let people grow beards. I've let people, change the different uniforms and everything else. And I think we're moving forward with that in the process of, hiring people. And I think it will come around as they say, the pendulum should swing back our way sometime sooner or later before I get out of this office.
Well, how can the public help with the staffing problem in your recruitment?
I couldn't hear you, Jerome. You faded out.
Okay, how can the public help with your recruiting?
Well, the public can help us by, sharing our philosophy and everything in the community, telling people that we have good jobs that pays good money and good insurance, good benefits, and everything like that. A word of mouth to me is worth better than anything, any money or anything else. And, the community, if they'll just, put forward the effort and understand that the police nowadays or sheriff or deputy sheriff is not the bad guy. We're the good guys. We want to make sure that everything is done and done in the right way.
Tell us some of the functions of the sheriff department, because some people think that it's just a regular law enforcement office. So tell us some of the functions that y'all do.
Well, the functions of the sheriff's office is, number one, I'm a constitutional officer. I work for you, the taxpayers. Y'all do not work for me. Number 2 is I have 19 judges that sit every day that we have to provide security in the courtrooms for. I have 1,171 inmates in jail today that I have to look after and take care of. Then we serve some 17 to 20,000 civil papers every year. Also, I can do any type of law enforcement work that needs to be done, such as accidents, murders, rapes, robberies, and things like that. But you have a city police and a county police to do that, and then 6 other different municipalities within Chatham County that does that. We provide them with extra help every time that we can and let them handle their functions, and we handle our functions at the jail, and we all work together. And I think that's one of the biggest assets of being a deputy is I have actually more authority than a regular police officer does. I can go to Atlanta and pick up somebody on a warrant. I can fly to Houston to pick up somebody. I can go to Hawaii. But a normal city policeman or county policeman or one of the municipalities can't do that because they don't have the authority to do that. So the sheriff's office is a big undertaking that a lot of people just don't understand.
Mm. Okay, so what is the budget for your department?
Well, my budget, I think, is somewhere, and I'm not sure because, it varies from time to time. It's about $68 million. But you got to take in consideration, you got a budget for your street part of it, which handles the civil and criminal papers and transporting prisoners and mental patients and things like that. And then your court section, which I referred to earlier, is 19 judges that sit every day. And then the jail side of it too. Number one, my electric bill is about $1,200,000 a year in the jail. My food service is just under $3 million in the jail. My medical contract is about $12,800,000. So out of that $68 million, all that's taken out of it, and the rest of it is provided with salaries to make sure that we do our job and treat these inmates in the jail humanely.
Mm. Okay. And so with that being said, is there any room in that budget to help recruitment by higher pay?
Yes, ma'am. Higher pay is always a better thing to recruit people, and like I said, we've changed all of our strategy on the thing. Like I said, we've changed to different uniforms, different shirts. We let them grow beards and everything else. The money is one of the biggest factors, but one of the biggest things that the sheriff's office has over a lot of other agencies in the county is that the retirement and the insurance is a lot cheaper. And, as I always say, when it's raining outside, it's not raining inside the jail. When it's cold outside, it's warm inside of the jail. So we try every tactic there is to get people to come in and work for us. It's not a bad job. I'm in my 48th year here, almost would have been 50, but I left for a couple of years and I love it. I mean, you can't ask for no place better than this.
Okay, well, I've got, okay, I see what it is now. I'm looking at the time clock.
We in the 11 minute.
Well, Sheriff, you've been around a long time. And kind of tell us, what do you think, and how long you think you're going to be around? How much longer do you think you're going to be around? Will this be your last go round?
Yeah, Jerome, I'm going to retire after this. When I'm elected in this year here, I'm going to retire in 2028. Be with my family. I got my muscle cars, my baseball cards, football cards. I got a number of things I want to do with my son, who's a custom border patrol officer. We love to build cars and things like that. So, this is going to be my last go around, and I would really run after this, but my wife said, if you like sleeping on the back porch, you need to consider don't run for sheriff in 2028. So I'm not running.
Sound like the cook has spoken.
Yeah.
Yeah, you probably need to listen to wife.
Yes, ma'am. As long as I get the last 2 words in yes, dear, yes, ma'am, I'm very happy.
All right.
One thing that we noticed about
why you so involved in the community.
I couldn't hear you, Jerome. You and the lady talked over each other.
Okay. Why are you so involved in the community? We know you've been around, but you're so involved in the community. Tell us about it.
Well, number one, this is my career. This is my life here. Only time I've ever left this community is 1961 to 64 when I went in the U.S. Navy. Other than that, I've been here. The people in this community drive me to go and want to do things. If you ask me to go do something, I'm going to be there for you. If you ask me, can I help you? I'm going to help you if I can. And, my thing about being in the community, and it's no disrespect to anybody that I'm thinking to say, but, people want to get in here in May, June, July, August, September, October, November, go to these churches, go to these events. This is the first time they did it. I've done it all my life. I've been around probably 100 places with you and mine in your career around here. If you ask the sheriff to go somewhere, the sheriff's going to be there. You can rest on that.
All right. I've been looking, and we've been uh, hearing about the mental health situation in the jailhouse. Why is there such a high incidence of jailing mental health inmates
Well,
in our community these days?
Well, the thing about it is, I don't put them in jail. When they come to jail, my job is to make sure that they're taken care of humanely, make sure that they're provided with medical, uh, uh, dental service, all these different things. Years ago when Milledgeville was here, they had some 12,000 people in Milledgeville. Now they're down to about 800. So, over the years through nutrition and everything, people have become mental health or PTS or whatever, and we're here to take care of them. Commissioner Tanner and I got together and got me a grant for $1 million so that we could come in and have 2 people here that does nothing except mental health evaluations to get them competent to stand trial. I got 88. This needs to go to Georgia Regional, and Georgia Regional is full. So Mr. Tanner, Commissioner Tanner, gave us this money, and we hired these people, and we're working on the second one now to get him competent to stand trial, and he can either his case be tried, dismissed, or no process. And this is the biggest thing: when we get him competent to stand trial, that his attorney will pass the case, the judge will pass the case, the DA will pass the case. Then it comes back to his attorney, and he says, my client is not competent to stand trial, so you got to start all over with a mental health person or even somebody that's not mental health. So it's a big undertaking that you do, especially with mental health. I got 350 people in here today that's on some kind of psychotropic drugs. And that's why my medical contract's $12,800,000 a year.
So if you got that many people, you need to have just a hospital built just for those folk, right?
Well, and back, I think 3 or 4 years ago, Commissioner Stone, myself, Jesse Petrie, Dr. Watson, Bill Hitchens, and all built the place on Duran Avenue in Skidaway so that you could actually take somebody there to get them evaluated and maybe get them back on their medication so they can become successful people in the community. One person in particular, I won't call his name, but been in my jail 189 times. He's a grown man. He's in his 60s, and he's never done anything other than a misdemeanor. His family will take what Social Security gets, what SSI and all this, and they would buy him enough medication for 10 days. And then after the 10 days, he's walking the street. Well, he's in the middle of the street. He's got a mind of a 10-year-old. The police tell him to get out the street. He don't. Then they arrest him and want to bring him to jail for criminal trespassing. So what they did with this place on the Ren is we can take them out there, get them evaluated, get them on their drugs to get them back in so they can be somebody in the community, not a statistic, but somebody in the community that can strive in the community.
Okay, that's good to know. I didn't know that.
Yes, sir. And we're still working on a lot of other things in here too. Mental health, PTS, and all this. It's something other that's here. When I was coming up, I didn't even think about that or anything. But nowadays it's something other that's every day. But we need to take care of those people when they come into the jail and treat them humanely.
Okay. Well, also, what do you think is the reason for the rise in the crime rates across the country, and what can be done to reduce it?
Well, I think that one of the biggest things is, and I say it all the time, and I know you've heard me say it 100 times, we need to go back to family values. You need to have a mother and a father. And I know there's a lot of ladies out there as single parents, but we got to go back to, when I was coming up as a kid, 11 o'clock, I was in Sunday school, 12, I was in church, 6 that afternoon. On Sunday, I was in church. Tuesday, I was in Royal Ambassadors. Wednesday, I was in church. And I sat on the front row of the church. And our parents were a single parent or a mother and a father took care of them. Now you got kids raising kids, And actually, the kids are not raising kids; their mother is raising the kids as kids. So we got to turn this thing around so that we can start over and get the right things to do. And families in the neighborhood too. That's the biggest thing. One of the things I've always said during my career. When I came up, if I went in Jerome's neighborhood and got a hand, Jerome's mama put something on me. And when I got back home, I better tell my mama because Jerome's mama had already talked to my mama. But they don't do that no more. They
Right.
totally get away from that. And you got to, it takes a village to make things happen, And, my old saying, if you see something, say something and do something, and that's one of the biggest things that we got nowadays that people just don't want to do that. And, if Jerome and I standing on the corner and we watch somebody shoot somebody and they come up and ask me and Jerome, well, I don't know who done it, but that's not the way to live, So, it's the family values and the neighborhoods and everything else.
Yeah, I hear you.
I know it sounds like I'm in church on Sunday. I know that, but that's just my passion,
That should be everybody's passion.
And like I said, well, I told my dad one time when he was dying, I went to hospice to see him, and I said, Dad, I missed a few whippings in my time. He said, no, you didn't, son. I said, what do you mean, Dad? He said, you're running the jail, you ain't in it. Because my daddy and my mom were very stern people, and I appreciate it. I look back every day to some things that my mom and dad said that I thought that I knew more than them, but it works out that you don't know more than them. They've been there, done that, and got the T-shirts to prove it.
That's something that I think we all suffered with it when we were coming up. We thought we knew more than our parents did. And when you come to find out, we all were dumber than we thought we were.
Yeah, and the thing, we got to work together. Just because I'm white and Jerome is black, that has nothing to do with it. We're human beings, and what's in your heart is what should be put out there, not something other that you don't like or anything else, because nobody's going to have all the same feelings or anything else in their career or their life, A
human being is a human being.
Yes, sir.
It's time for a commercial break, so we'll be right back.
Thank you.
We'll be right back with you.
All right.
Hi, I'm Katie Brewington and I'm running for Magistrate Court Judge. Magistrate Court is often called the People's Court because people represent themselves or are pro se litigants. Magistrate Court handles civil claims up to $15,000, dispossessory proceedings, pre-warrant applications, and good behavior bonds. I'm a great candidate for judge because I have the experience, compassion, and drive to get the job done. I have been a probation officer, a criminal defense attorney, a solicitor, and a municipal court judge, and I will take all of that experience to get the job done. So remember, vote Katie Brewington, May 21st, for Magistrate.
Right, we're back with you. Now, Jennifer, you got a question you want to
Yeah,
ask?
I do. So we sometimes have consistent lawbreakers. As you said, you had somebody in jail 189 times. How do you feel about the laws that punish repeat offenders more harshly? Do you favor those laws or not?
Well, the thing about the laws is it's made by our legislatures, our senators, and our congressmen. I don't have anything that I can even add to that because my job is to follow the letter of the law. Whatever the law says, that's what I have to do. My personal opinion that maybe they should be treated less or maybe they should be treated more, that's not for me to make that decision. That's for the people who make the laws to put them here, and I'm to enforce them.
Okay. And is there any other ways that the community can help with crime prevention? Is there something that community members can do to work in conjunction with you guys, with the lawmaker, with the law enforcers?
Yes, ma'am. As I said earlier, family values in the community. You know, again, if you see something, say something, and somebody will do something. But if you see something and you never say anything, then things go undone. You know, I know probably in my career, there's been a lot of cases that's never been solved that I don't actually know, but I know that, you know, people know what happened and when it happened and who done it, you know. So, you know, that's the biggest thing. If you see something, say something and do something. And then in the community is to volunteer, you know, volunteer your services, volunteer your expertise. You know, I answer my phone 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. You call me at 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to help you. And, you know, a lot of times, no disrespect to anybody else, but other agencies and other sheriffs will not do that. But that is my goal, is to make sure that you as a taxpayer and a citizen of this community that I work for, that we're going to try to solve your problems.
You're muted, Jerome. You're muted. You're muted.
Jerome muted. She said you was muted, Jerome.
Sorry about that. If this is, like you said, this is your last term, Sheriff. What do you plan to do after you retire? Are you going to be in the fish pond? Are you going to be hunting? Or are you just going to be running up and down the road traveling?
Well, really, I hadn't thought about too much, but, you know, I got a lot of hobbies. I got 4 muscle cars. My son has 1 muscle car, and I have a lot of my baseball, football collection, you know. And, you know, I'm going to do basically whatever my wife tells me we're going to do. If you want to know the truth about it, not tell you nothing out of the ordinary. But, you know, I'm just looking forward to, you know, still being in the community, still helping people. If people need help, I'm available. I have the same phone number that I've had for 30 something years. When I leave here, I'm not going to change it. People can call me if they need help, or I'll try to give them good directions or whatever, you know.
Okay. Would you consider being on a panel to discuss ways to improve the Orange Crush events and events like Orange Crush?
Most definitely. I mean, I'm open for anything, you know, to give. Again, as I said earlier, if you see something, say something, do something. If they invite me to be on the panel, I want to be there to give them my input, tell them what I think is right, what I think is wrong, and then you put it all in the middle of the table and you hash it out and then come up with a solution for it. You know, again, my job is to serve and protect the people of this community. And Orange Crush, I sent people to work it. You know, roadblocks, I send people to work it. You know, I send people to work with the city and the different municipalities. My K9 works with everybody. So, you know, it's a big hodgepodge that we play, and we all got to get together and do the same thing. We can't, you know, it's like a great saying was said, together we stand, divided we apart. So that's what we got to do. We got to come together and be one cohesive unit of everything when it comes to doing the right thing.
Okay. And just looking at Orange Crush, what do you see one of the major, besides the crowd size, what do you see is one of the major issues?
Jerome, I don't have a clue because wasn't involved in it. My chief deputy handled all that. I only saw a little bit of video or whatever, but I think everybody has the right to go and do the things that they want to do, you know, in the community or at the beach or whatever, you know. So, you know, I'm not going to sit here and try to criticize somebody that may said something or may done something that I don't know anything about, you know. So again, I would sit on any kind of panel that they invited me to try to give them my input, what little bit I know about it or whatever, you know. I think this year was one of the best Orange Crushes And my thing, as long as I can think, is we didn't arrest as many people on the Orange Crush as we did before because the crowds are smaller because, that's the way it was, I reckon. And I don't know any other answer to tell you other than that, Jerome.
So,
Go ahead, Natasha.
yeah, I was just going to ask, is there any innovative things that we can look forward to in the Sheriff Department? I know we talked earlier, but is there anything that is in motion right now that we may need to know about that's innovative?
Well, we've always got things that is done, just like I said before, we're working with Commissioner Tanner on our mental health. That's a big plus for us to move these people forward so we can get them to be steady enough to stand trial for whatever case they may be charged with. And, we're always looking for other avenues to work things out. Just like I said prior to this question with the place on Skidaway and Duran that we've built to help people who are decompensating to get their medication. So we always looking for anything, anywhere that will help the people in this community.
Okay. And then earlier you mentioned about you guys working in support of the other law enforcers. Is there any innovative things where I know it's shortages everywhere? So, and you said the Sheriff Department has an advantage to help in any kind of way where some, you can go out of the county and stuff like that. So is there anything that you see you guys having a stronger partnership to be able to try to help fill some of those gaps?
Well, we always want to be stronger in the community, but then you got to have the people to be there. If city police calls and they need a bomb dog or they need a K9 dog, we pull our people and send them straight there. We're here again, like I said earlier, ma'am, to serve and protect the people. We want to give all the service we can, but we have to abide by what the courts put out for us to operate on and what my jail has to run to have the staff in there and everything else. So, we're here to help any way we can. I've been out on warrant searches at 2:00 in the morning with SPD because they needed people and they were short. And I met there, my chief, my commanders, everybody. We're here to help everybody.
Okay. Jerome, you have any questions? You're muted again.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep down the background noise. But, sorry about that. We talk about, we see a lot of young folk getting into trouble. And do you see implementing any programs help influence the young people away from violent activities and giving them something else to do besides being in the streets?
Yeah, we at one time we had an Explorer program here, but it got to where you only got 2 or 3 people because they didn't want to participate in the Explorer program. We've worked with the scouts. We bring them out here sometimes on the weekend and show them how to different things, and stuff like that. Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts. We're open to the general public, ladies organizations, gentlemen organizations, and everything else to try to get them to understand what we do and how they can reflect it in their community so that they can take the information we give them back to their community and maybe solve some of the problems in their community.
So, one question. So, understanding that there is a need for different programs, do you guys tap into like big businesses such as Gulfstream or Pacifics or the ports to ask for help with funding? Have you done that?
Yes, ma'am. We have several grants that we work on, and everybody's stressed for money and everything else, so we try to do the grants. In the jail, I meant to mention earlier, in the jail I have 16 different programs in my jail. I have a conflict resolution, I have a culinary program, I have a veterans program, a DUI program. I got all the GED program, Project New Hope program where we take dogs who are going to be euthanized, train them, and have them adopted out. All this is done through the sheriff's office, and it doesn't cost you, the taxpayers, a dime. And I know you're sitting there scratching your head. Why? Well, telephones, kiosks, things like that the inmates news, we get a certain percentage of that money, and it goes back into what is called an inmate welfare fund, and that money can only be spent on the inmates.
Mm.
You're an inmate here, let's say 7 or 8 months, and you need 2 weeks or 3 weeks on your GED program, you get discharged from the jail, you can go to Savannah Tech, and it will be paid for.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And, we've had, I don't know how many graduations we've had. I have a ministry program. I have 4 ministers in the jail, 2 females and 2 males. They do ministry programs every day. I've got the Jewish minister, I got Baptists, I got Catholic, I got Protestants. I got them all in here so that we can try to help these inmates move forward. When they get out of jail, they can be productive citizens, not recidivists that comes back in the jail.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I always hate to say, but I'm seeing the 5th generation come through here now. I'm seeing the father, his son, his son's son, his son's son, with juvenile to come over here. And it relates back to what I said earlier about 2 parents or 1 parent trying to raise kids. It takes a village to raise these kids to keep them out of trouble. And I know when I come up, and I can speak for Jerome too, because I know Jerome, if we got out of hand, we got something put on us that we don't want to go to school and tell about it. But they don't do that no more, you can't do that anymore. And it's not being cruel and unusual. It's just trying to keep them on the right road,
Mm-hmm. So, Sheriff, it sounds like you keep saying that there's some morals and values of the family component that's being lost. Is that pretty much what you're trying to say? The morals and values need to be reinstilled?
You got to have them. You got to have morals and values. When I was coming up, you go in and sit down at the table. You didn't put your elbows on the table. You didn't go without a shirt to the table. You didn't wear a hat to the table. And you sure didn't tell mama, well, I ain't going to eat this. I'm going to Burger King.
Well, I'm 45 and I had those same rules.
We're in the same category as Jerome and I are, because we were raised that way.
I was too.
You didn't get up from the table till your mom and dad got up from the table.
He keeps saying Jerome and I, he the oldest.
Okay, he's telling both of y'all age right now.
Yeah, but when like you said, when we were coming up, you didn't tell mama no. You didn't tell mama I ain't gonna do this. There was back then no child abuse laws. We weren't abused. We just were well taken care of.
You're right.
We wasn't beat bloody, but you got a whipping that you wasn't gonna do what you did that time no more.
You're right about that.
Sheriff, I'm really impressed with your answers. They're so thorough and straight to the point.
Well, ma'am, I'm very truthful. I'm going to tell you today what I'm going to tell you tomorrow, and not being ugly or rude to you. I really don't care, because I can always look you straight in the eye tomorrow and say, what I told you yesterday, I'm going to tell you today. I'm very transparent. My dad and my mom said, tell the truth today and you ain't got to lie tomorrow.
Yeah, what you see is what you get. I know my grandfather told me, he say, the most value you have, you're not a rich person, so your word is your value. So if your word don't stand on anything, then you have no value.
My granddaddy always said, your word's your bond.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that's the way it is, and back then, I know when I was coming up, 5, 6 years old, I seen my granddaddy walk into a bank and say, I want to borrow $500. He shook the guy's hand, walked out with the money, and 6 months later went back there and paid him for it. Never signed a note. Mm-hmm. But that was value in life back then.
So with the education training, do the inmates get some kind of credit for doing these?
They get a GED. They'll get their GED just like anybody on the outside. If they work in the Project New Hope, they get a kennel certificate. If they do the culinary, they get a thing that they can actually go out. And we've had several of them to get jobs on River Street at restaurants and everything else as chefs and everything else. So everything we do is structured around them not ever coming back to my jail.
But do they get good time? Do they get time off for doing these?
Everything, as I said earlier, is structured by the court. If the court gives you 30 days in jail on a misdemeanor, you actually only have to do 15.
Okay.
So, and then the inmates that work on the outside cutting grass, this and that, and we pay them money to do all that, so it doesn't cost the taxpayers any money. And you're welcome to come in my jail. My jail is clean. There's no noise in it. And if inmates walking down the hall, they walk to the left of you and they speak to you and they keep right on going. I'll put my jail up against anybody. I'm the 5th largest jail in Georgia, and I'm larger than most prisons. I can hold 2,433 inmates here.
Speaking of which, how full are you right now?
I'm at 1171, Jerome, this morning. 11, and during the pandemic, I was 1,908, so we dwindled it down from 1,908 to, and I've been down almost to 1,096 at one time, but it all fluctuates on your courts. And another thing too, that a lot of people don't realize, people, when they tried within 15 to 30 days, if you're tried and going to prison, you're in prison in 15 to 30 days. I actually take the prisoners to the prison and turn them over to them. I don't keep them in here anymore.
Okay.
Let me ask you,
We're approaching a break in about a minute.
yeah, okay. We were talking about the education, and suppose you had someone in the jailhouse that wanted to do some college study. Is that made available to them?
Well, we are looking into that right now. I talked to some people at Savannah Tech about that, but you know, there again, you have to bring in outside vendors to do things like that or whatever, and they can do it on the kiosk and everything, and they can do it through written things through the college too. So you know, we're trying to do everything basically to get them the basics to start off with, you know, and that's pretty hard to get done, just the basics.
Okay. Well, we're gonna break away for just a second and have another break. We want you to remember this is the vulnerable community, and we are giving you all the information that we can get to make you make a wise decision. So we'll see y'all in just a couple of seconds. Be right back with you.
Transformative, that's what Sonya Jackson is. Creative, that's what Sonya Jackson is. Compassionate, that's what Sonya Jackson is. Leadership, that's what Sonya Jackson demonstrates. Dedicated, that's what Sonya Jackson is. Chatham County, there's never been a tax commissioner like Sonya Jackson. She has made the office more accessible, more consistent, more convenient, and more service-friendly. Let's keep Sonya Jackson while she takes the tax commissioner's office to new heights. On May 21st, cast your vote for a great public servant. Vote Sonya Jackson for tax commissioner.
Here we go. All right, we're back for the last section. You know, we have been talking, and Sheriff, I know it may be hard for this may be a hard question because I hadn't researched it myself, but do you know, as far as numbers, which sheriff you are?
I'm the 62nd sheriff in Chatham County.
Right.
200 and I think 93 years that the sheriff's office has been here. Actually, when Oglethorpe landed in 1732, it was a provost up until they landed in 1732 up until I think 1840 or 50, and they changed it to a bailiff. And then in the 80s, they changed it from bailiff to a regular deputy.
Right. You know a little bit of the history then, hey?
Well,
A lot of the history. I'm impressed.
well, the thing about it is, it's just like either one of y'all's job, Jerome, I know your job that you work on every day and the functions you work with the labor union and everything. I wouldn't have a clue what it is, and I was raised I'm a union brat. My daddy was in the Teamsters Local 728 for 35 years. I know it raised me and my brother though, but you get involved with your job and you want to know every ins and outs about it because somebody's always asking you something.
Right. So,
And
Sheriff,
funny thing, you said something just a little while ago about the 5 generations of people you had in the jailhouse at one time or another. We used to, when we were coming up, we wanted to be like our parents. We wanted to do what we see our parents do. And we have been made to the point where I've been to the point where my father, when I was coming up, was a truck driver. I took the truck driving. How many of your kids took to being in law enforcement?
I have one son. He's a custom border patrol officer, and he's a GS 13-6, and he works at the port. I'm the first in my family to ever be a police officer, and my son's the second one.
JV, you got a question?
yeah, I do. I mean, you just seem so relaxed, and you have such a big duty as sheriff. How do you manage your day-to-day stress?
Well, my day-to-day is working for you, the people. I enjoy it. I get here every morning at 4:30 or 4:45, and I'm here till 4:30 or 5 o'clock in the evening, unless I got a function, which I have a function tonight at 5 o'clock, and I'll get home about 8 o'clock. But that's what drives me. It's to be here to serve and protect the people and try to answer all their questions. Can I answer them all? No, I can't. But can I try to get you an answer? Yes, I can.
So is no stress to this job?
No, ma'am, I don't have any at all. I just had a physical last month, and the doctor said the only thing that I need to do is not take so much vitamin D. I said, okay, I won't take no more then. So, I mean, I don't let it worry me, and one of the things, the reason that I don't let it worry, I surround myself with the best people. I got people who will come in and sit down and shut the door and say, look, you screwed up. We need to talk about it. and then when we talk about it and they go out and open the door, that's the end of the conversation. But people don't do that anymore. They think a boss is the boss, but that's not true. I don't make all the right decisions. We only had one person on this earth that made those right decisions, and he's looking down on us now.
So you basically saying you don't have a whole lot of yes men surrounding you?
Nope, I don't want them. I tell them, if I do something wrong, come in and shut the door and tell me. My secretary's done it. My PIO's done it. People that I know have said, look, it ain't a good thing to say or a good thing to do. Let's change that around a little bit. And I might tell them no, and then I'll think about it. I'll say, you're right. We need to go in a different direction. Just like I told you earlier about my uniforms. I've been a straight guy with, your brown pants and your brown shirt on, clean shave, I've changed. People come in and say, well, we need to change uniforms. We need to let people grow beards. We need to do this. We need to do that. And you have to change with the times. I can't expect my people to live in the 50s and the 60s with me,
Wow. Sound like a great boss, for real.
I'm just an ordinary guy. I love my community, and I always will love it, and I'll never leave it. And I never leave my house. I've been in my same house 57 years. I don't intend leaving it neither.
Okay.
I got you beat there.
Sir?
I said I got you beat there.
Oh, you got me beat there.
So y'all telling y'all age, 57 years.
I don't mind telling my age. I tell them to keep up with me. I tell them to get up every morning at 4:30 and be here and work with me and work all day long and all weekend and everything. Saturday I was with 3-4 functions. But I hate to cut it short. I know y'all got a lot of things to do, but I got another thing I got to do. I really enjoyed talking to y'all. I want to give y'all my phone numbers, and if you people want to call me and ask me questions, they're more than happy to. My personal cell is 912-660-7609. My office number is 912-652-7609. I answer my office phone at least 12 hours a day. I answer my personal phone 24 hours, 7 days a week. I've enjoyed it. I hope that I've give you all some insight at what the sheriff actually does, because a lot of people don't understand it and don't know it. You know, we would love to be, we're one of 12 counties in the state of Georgia that still has a county police, but you know, that's their choosing. But again, I enjoyed it. Jerome, thank you for everything that you've done over my career and being my friend. And I think I made another friend with this young lady that's on the conference with us too.
Amen.
All right. Do you have any closing statements before you go, Sheriff?
That's it. I just done it. That was my closing.
That's all you want to say? Okay.
Yes, sir. I you know, I can't say enough except thank the community for having trust in me and concerns and everything else. And I'm here for them. Thank y'all.
All right. Well, we appreciate it. We appreciate having you, and good luck in your race. And we'll be looking to talk to you again very soon.
Thank you, Jerome.
All right. Well, we had the sheriff. We've had all three candidates on this time for the office of the sheriff of Chatham County. We are a nonpartisan organization, and we bring you the pure facts. We talk to everyone and give everyone a chance to talk to you, so that you can make a wise decision when you go to the polls to vote. So with that being said, Ms. Sanders, would you,
Sanders Mobley, it don't matter.
Please do your closing statement.
I really enjoyed the sheriff. Like I said, he was a breath of fresh air because he was so thorough in his responses. He seemed very passionate about what he was responding to. And, you know, so I really enjoyed just learning, because he gave me a lot of things that I really didn't know that the sheriff department did. So I really appreciate just the learning aspect of this interview. And so I thank everyone for watching.
All right. Well, we'll be right back with y'all again next Tuesday. We want everybody to be here with us. You'd be surprised who we have next week. So we're not telling, but we're gonna have someone good to talk next week. So y'all be here with us, and we'll see y'all next Tuesday at 10 o'clock right here at the Vulnerable Communities at ATR Network. Talk to y'all later. Bye now.
like that.